We're here with baseball head coach Will Sanborn. Prior to departing to Winter Haven, Florida here on Saturday. The season begins on Sunday with a doubleheader against Endicott College down in Winter Haven. Coach Sanborn, how's the team looking so far? You guys have had some practices indoors here, 6 weeks worth. Team's definitely chomping at the bit to get going. How do you feel about the team this spring?
Well, I'm kind of guardedly optimistic. Very happy with the progress I've seen so far from the guys. They certainly have been working hard indoors here. This goes on our 6th week. That takes some discipline. 6 weeks staring at those gym walls, but every day they've come to work. There's some good talent there. The work ethic is certainly there, so hopefully things will come together early for us.
Now, speaking of the Florida trip, 9-game slate down there, all regional opponents, and a very, very tough schedule with the likes of Keene State, Endicott, Wheaton, Western New England, the defending regional champions. How does that work? How does that come together, a schedule like that? Is it intentional that it's all New England region opponents? Just kind of talk about that process.
Well, the NCAA has put quite a bit of value on in-region opponents, and you don't have to play them, physically, geographically in your region. So when we can pick up those types of teams in Florida, that's great for us. There's a whole scheduling process that we go through with the Russ Matt tournament. You basically let them know, here are the teams you'd like to play, here are the teams you perhaps don't want to play for various reasons. And we want to play top teams, and to throw us right into the fire early with that type of competition is only going to help us later on. It's going to be a real good measuring stick for where we are here early on.
Now, what goes into putting together such a trip like this? You have 36 guys going, a coaching staff, a couple team managers, a lot of travel arrangements, and of course an expensive endeavor. Speak of how that comes together.
Well, it's kind of like moving an army. But if I can go back a little bit, we're fortunate to have this trip. Some of the alums will remember when our spring trip consisted of a van ride to and from Virginia Beach, and while it's a nice area down there, we played some great teams. After my first year here as the head coach, we just kind of took the step up and have gone to Florida ever since. It's kind of a year-round process, booking hotels and getting the airlines lined up and working through the scheduling process, and with the fundraising. Our guys do a lot of individual fundraising. We do a ton of team fundraising. Probably the leading things that we do are our baseball clinics for little kids that really help fund the trip, and our hot stove auction, which is a great event, adds a lot to it as well. So you've got all those fundraising things, and then just the logistics of getting 40 baseball players down to Florida with all their gear and everything. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, but certainly pays off when you're standing on green grass, nice sunshine in Florida.
No doubt about it. And of course, many schools, the players pay a lot more than what we do here, and many teams take coach buses or vans still to this day.
Yeah, we're really fortunate that way. The school supports us with the trip very well, and then we have a lot of fundraising to do to really make ends meet. But we try to make it a first-class trip. To me, there's no sense in doing something like this if you're going to try to lowball it. So we try to do the trip as well as we can, make it a great experience for our guys. It's probably a $35,000 plus trip for us at this point. But it's it's the start to our season. It's the focus of our fundraising, and it really serves us really well.
I'll talk a little bit how the trip starts. You get down to Florida on Saturday. You pile out of the plane into vans, get to the hotel, and then on the itinerary it shows a schedule at a local high school field. Talk about how that goes to start with.
Yeah, everything has to come together, logistically there. So we'll be confirming our flights this week and our vans, make sure that when we hit the ground in the airport, we're into the vans quickly and back to the hotel. I think we land about 1:30 this year in Orlando. Hopefully that gets us to the hotel around 4, and then we have practice at 6 at a local high school. It's our first outdoor practice, since fall baseball, and then we'll play 9 games that count. So not only is all this preseason work very important, but that first outdoor practice is important. We've got guys that got to field ground balls off the grass and dirt again. We've got outfielders that have got to be able to judge fly balls the next day in game situations. So we got a lot to accomplish during that first practice.
Well, what are some expectations of the team this year? It's a good mix of veteran returners and newcomers. What are some of the things you expect to be strengths? What are some aspects that should be strong points this season?
Yeah, well, one of the things we try to do is to keep the expectations, wins and losses wise, kind of under control, and just take every game one day at a time, and every inning one inning at a time, and play the game a pitch at a time. But certainly if you're talking about strengths, I think one of the things that comes to mind with this team is that it should be a pretty strong and deep pitching staff. Got some good veterans returning, some young guys that have come in that I think are going to be ready to contribute right away. And you're only going to go as far as your pitching takes you. And I think if we keep these guys healthy, that should be a good year, and they should be able to make a nice help us make a nice playoff run. Defense too, I think, should be a strength. We were as good as anybody defensively last year in New England, and I think we're going to be a lot better this year, if that's possible. So I think defense should be strong, and I believe we're going to be a club that's really going to be able to manufacture runs. We've certainly got some guys that can go gap to gap, and drive the ball, but we've also got a team that's bought into the idea of having productive plate appearances, being able to move runners, getting on base, being able to bunt guys over, hit and run, do some things on the bases when we need to help push runs across, even when we're not perhaps swinging the bat, the way we'd like to.
Among the returners is a strong group of seniors that should provide plenty of leadership. Just speak to that group.
Yeah, it's been a huge key for us. I mean, you have to have guys who are going to lead the way, and it certainly can't all come from the coaching staff. And I really feel very, very good about our senior leadership. We've got Johnny Doms behind the plate, who's one of our catchers, who is a real veteran, provides great leadership, works a lot with the younger catchers. We've got Danny Brown in the infield, who provides a nice veteran presence there. Nobody works harder, nobody does the little things better in practice than Danny Brown does. And then we've got Kyle Nagel, who's our third captain, who is a dual role guy, pitches and plays the infield, and really leads the way a lot for us in the weight room as well. Kyle provides a lot of leadership. All 3 outstanding students, character guys. You can't really quantify the importance that has to a ball club and to young guys maturing quickly when they've got a good example being set for them. So, and we've got a whole host of other seniors. Andy Devereaux, veteran coming out of the bullpen, who should provide some great clutch innings for us. Danny Acorn as our shortstop will be the stalwart of the infield there. So it should be a good group, leadership-wise. We'll find out when we get in tough situations. That's what we're looking for. Is we get in tough situations, we get our back up against the wall a little bit. How do guys react? We'll be able to see that right away with the type of caliber of competition that we're playing in Florida.
Of course, other seniors include Jimmy Mastoni, Peter Elaine, who's back after 2 years off from the program, and Sam Murray, the 2010 GNAC Pitcher of the Year, who's coming back from a little bit of an injury bug, but he's working his way back.
Yeah, Murray's a guy that has had some arm issues dating back to really probably before he even came here to pitch. We've been working our way through that for 4 years with Sammy, but he appears to be getting healthy and just at the right time. So we'll be making sure we don't overdo it with him on the spring trip, but he should be able to provide us some innings down there, and then we can build on that through the season with the hopes of having that kind of a veteran left-handed presence, available to us come tournament time. Sammy could be as good as anybody in New England when he's healthy. So we're gonna exhaust everything we can to try to keep him healthy and progress through the season. Peter Elaine's a guy that came back out for our team this year after a couple years away, and Pete can swing the bat, and I expect he'll pinch hit in some big situations, DH, play some outfield. He's a really good addition. And Jimmy Mostone's been a team guy, a character guy right along. He has been a role player for us, and he's always ready to step off the bench and take a swing for us too. So deep senior class. Good leadership.
Definitely 8 guys, a large class that wants to leave with another excellent season. Now we've talked about some of the returners. How do you feel about the incoming class, the group of new guys? What are they going to bring to the table, and what do you expect from this group?
I think it's a group that's in a lot of positions ready to make an impact right away. There are going to be certainly those guys that are going to play their role and learn from the older guys and work their way in. But we've got some impact guys there too that I think are going to play a big role right away. Behind the plate, you'll see that with a couple of freshmen, Joe Coyne, right-handed hitting catcher from Duxbury, Mass, who really is going to be a middle-of-the-order type of bat for us, and Nick Lops out of Chevres High School here in Portland, a left-handed hitting catcher who's also very strong behind the plate, great throwing arm, and can also drive the baseball. So those 2 guys are going to really, I think, have a big impact right away. It'll be interesting to see. You get young catchers learning this new pitching staff. How quickly do they come along behind the plate? That's to me more of a concern with what they're going to do than what they're going to do with the bat. I know those guys are going to help us with the bat. So we got those guys. We got some young guys coming in, and adding a lot to the pitching staff. Some will be perhaps early starters. Alex Valenti, Steve Kalberg will come out of the bullpen. So it's a group that's pretty interesting and pretty deep. Excellent students, good guys who should have good 4-year careers with the program.
Certainly serious baseball players, that young group.
Yeah, we throw them right into it right away. They've worked real hard all year long since day 1 of fall baseball, first day of classes. These guys have been getting after it, so I think they're going to adjust pretty well.
Now, Coach, you mentioned some team goals, how you kind of keep wins and losses out of it. What are team goals are a big part of the program. Guys come together with their individual goals, team goals. It's a meeting early in the practice session of the spring semester. What are some of your goals, your personal goals as the head coach in your 20th season here?
Well, I think one of the things you try to do is prepare your team to the best of your ability. And as I tell these guys once in a while, I've won a few games, but I've been beaten in so many ways, and sometimes I learn more when I lose. I think that happens to all of us. So over the years, each year try to prepare your team a little bit better, especially during this preseason period, so that they're ready to hit the ground running. I think what you try to do as a head coach is provide some perspective on things. Never get too high with these guys, never get too low. Try to make sure they're on an even keel. And the biggest thing is to let them know that I have tremendous confidence in what they can do out there on the baseball field. So I think when they know that the coaching staff looks at them as top-notch college baseball players who can all find a way to contribute, and that adds a lot to their confidence level.
Definitely. And the program since 2005 is just a laundry list of great accomplishments. 6 conference crowns in 7 seasons, 5 regional tournament appearances, and just the list goes on and on. One of my final questions here: what has gone into the program, making it into one of the best in New England since that time?
Well, that's a little tough to answer. I think, one of the things that we strive for is consistency. And, that's not only consistency with wins and losses and your record, but with everything we do. So from working to improve our facility every year to real focus on recruiting, that's always got to be the key, to what our guys do in the classroom and what they do on and off the field character-wise. It's become a pretty simple approach here. We look for talented baseball players who are character guys, who are outstanding students and willing to make the commitment to their education, and then guys who love baseball and want to work hard and get better. And if you can find that combination, keep things in perspective, and consistently get after it every day, you hope that good things happen and it takes care of itself, and that's the kind of run we're on right now. It hasn't happened without a lot of great players, a lot of great guys putting tremendous effort into this program.
Now, Coach, I noticed in your personal goals list you didn't say anything about becoming the winningest coach in SJC athletics history. I know you're not comfortable talking about a lot of these things. You're sitting right now at 503 career wins, and you're one behind Rick Simons, the all-time great men's basketball coach here. And so with the second victory, which hopefully comes in the spring trip, you'll become the winningest coach. What does that mean to you at this point?
Well, it in a way it means a lot, and in a way it's just another kind of a milestone. You don't focus on it. I mean, first of all, to be anywhere mentioned in the same conversation with Rick Simons, I mean, there's a guy that can coach anything. He's just a tremendous motivator, he's a tremendous recruiter when he was here, and did so much to build the athletic department from, I don't want to say from nothing, but from very kind of an embryonic state that it was in when he got here, and to take it to the level that he took it to, not only his own program but the athletic department. It's great to be mentioned in a conversation about coaches here at St. Joe's with Rick Simons. The interesting thing about it, as a coach, you don't really win a single game. The players win the games. So I would say that the guys that have played for me, the teams have won 500 games or whatever it might be, but I don't really look at that as an individual accomplishment because I don't win a single game. The guys that do it out there in the field, they're the ones that win the ball games. It's a little bit of a sign of old age when you start racking up some numbers like that, but it's a great milestone for all the guys that have gone through the program and contributed to it over the years, and hopefully it's something that they're maybe even a little bit more proud of than I am, because they're the ones who've gone out there and done it.
Well, I know the guys on the team this year are excited to be part of something like that, and I'm sure it's something that they'll never forget when it does happen. So, Coach, thank you so much for your time, and good luck on the spring trip and the rest of the season.
Thank you.